You're not losing weight on keto. What's happening? I'm gonna give you the 5 reasons that you're not seeing results on your keto weight loss journey. All right, stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Ileka. I'm Keto Mommy Makeover. I'm a mom of 4 who lost 120 pounds through a ketogenic diet, exercise, and mindset changes. And I've helped thousands of women do the same thing with the program that I created myself, right? And now I've also ventured into helping keto coaches and health and fitness professionals really grow their business and their brand the way I did so that they can do this full time and not have that full-time job and then doing this on the side, right? We work on building your business, building your brand, and turning your audience into clients, right? We also work on retaining clients, building your clients the right program that's gonna give them accountability, gonna give them results, and gonna show them exactly what to do and educate them on health and fitness so they can receive results long term. So they will be shouting at the rooftops on how great you've done for them, right? And then lastly, teach you how to really build a program that is premium, that is top notch, that'll help clients see results and help you be able to do this full time, all right? So if that's you and that's what you're interested in doing, go ahead and either send me a DM or join my Facebook group, right? We talk about this stuff all the time in Facebook. It's a free group and it'll really help you get going on this journey. I've also got a free masterclass coming up, so you can go ahead and check the link in my bio on Instagram. So be sure to follow me there. So you can check the link in my bio on Instagram and go ahead and sign up for my free masterclass, all right? So let's get this thing going. So I get this all the time. Ileka, I tried keto before and it did not work for me. I did not lose any weight, or I lost a couple of pounds and could not keep it off. Ileka, keto doesn't work. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no way you lost all that weight on keto, right? I literally hear this stuff all the time, okay? And they're like, I did it. And I'm like, so what'd you do on keto? And then they go into the story, right? And that's when I know, okay, sweetie, you know, like, let's go. I can help you truly see results, right? So let me tell you the 5 mistakes most people are making that has either stalled their results on keto or they're not seeing results at all, right? Mistake number 1, eating all those keto treats and fat bombs. So let's start with the keto treats, right? So anything that says keto on it, you'll see something here, you'll see something here, everywhere we look, right? Because keto is a new buzzword. So whenever we go in a grocery store, whenever we look on Amazon, anywhere we look, we see all these things that say keto on it, right? And honestly, rule of thumb is if it says keto on it, don't just grab it and buy it. Turn that bad boy over and see what it says, right? Look at the nutrition label and see how many carbs, how much fiber, how many sugar alcohols, and then also what are the ingredients, okay? Because what happens with a lot of these keto treats, even if we're making them, we're using the wrong types of sweeteners that are still causing an issue in our bodies, right? So for instance, what folks don't realize is that when we're adding things like sucralose, many people still have adverse reactions to sucralose. And so though it may not raise our blood sugar for some people it still raises their blood sugar, but it may not raise your blood sugar. What it will do is cause you to crave other sugars. So now it's gonna make you more likely to fall off path, right? And so that's something to think about, right? Another thing is when we're looking at the label and it says, you know, it's this many carbs and it's this much fiber and it's this much sugar alcohols, right? And you see that here. Here's the thing, right? When we're talking sugar alcohols, we need to understand what sugar alcohol we are looking at, okay? Because not all sugar alcohols are created equally, and I've talked about this a ton. But here's the real thing, right? Some of these sugar alcohols will have us craving more sugars. Some of these sugar alcohols will actually have our blood sugar going up, which stops the fat burning process, right? Some of these sugar alcohols will take us out of ketosis altogether, right? And also, not all fiber is created equally. Not all of it is the fiber that we're supposed to be having, right? Not all of it is the amazing fiber you're getting in things like avocado and vegetables, right? That's not the fiber that's usually used when you see something that's high in fiber. So think about the ingredients that is in what you're eating, because that is going to affect whether you were losing weight on this journey. So you'll notice that maybe you were losing weight at the beginning, right? When you first started keto, you were killing it. You had your vegetables, you had your protein, you had your fat, you were doing it, right? And then you started watching Instagram and somebody made a cheesecake and you're like, ooh, I want cheesecake. I can eat cheesecake on keto. So now you get all the ingredients, you make that cheesecake, and all of a sudden, every time you turn around, your progress has slowed or it's stopped altogether. Because now what you're doing is you're adding more and more of these little snacks and it's causing you to stall, right? So just think about that. So that is tip number 1. Get rid of those keto treats, all right? Tip number 2. And this is in any video you will ever watch that I will ever make. You may not be getting enough water, all right? Remember, water helps to flush our systems, helps to reset things for us, right? It helps with our digestion. Like, water is so important, helps with our skin, right? Water is so important. So ensure that you're getting a sufficient amount of water for your body. Good rule of thumb is about half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 300 pounds, that's 150 ounces of water that you want to be drinking each day, all right? That's a rule of thumb. I know that sounds crazy, right? It's like 150 ounces of water. I barely drink any water. I can't do 150 ounces. But here's the thing. Here's what you got to think about, right? Number 1, you're not going to go from 0 water today to 150 ounces tomorrow, right? So what you can do is build it up over time. All right, just think about how you can do that, okay? So that's the process. Getting your water in. It's going to be so important to your journey overall. It helps your body maintain and just stay flowing the way it's supposed to flow. It helps with digestion. I mean, there's so many benefits. You can Google all the benefits of water, but make sure you're getting your water in, all right? Because that's number 2. Most people are not getting a sufficient amount of water, all right? All right, number 3, fats. Okay, so I talk about this all the time, right? How I don't do a whole ton of fat on keto. But just because I don't do a whole ton of fun, oh, I do have fun. Just because I don't do a whole ton of fats does not mean that I'm not getting fats, right? So that is the problem. A lot of folks feel like, okay, well, I've got dietary fat, so I don't need to have any additional fat, right? Or you came from the 80s, 90s, right? Where we were always being told low fat this, low fat that, and we were told that fats were so bad, right? And we saw that pyramid that said only have this amount of fats in the day, right? And so that's what we still have in our heads, and we're sticking with that, right? And so what's happening is with keto, we have to get a sufficient amount of fats. So many people are struggling on keto because they're not getting enough fats and they're finding themselves hungry. So now what they end up doing is binging later, or maybe not binging, but maybe just eating more than they actually would or should, right? So that is something to think about, right? Making sure that you're getting enough fats. Also, fats, they don't just help with being full, they also help to manage hormone levels, right? So when you talk to people on keto, you'll notice that, even if you research on keto, you'll notice that it helps to reset our hormones and to balance our hormones. If you're not getting enough fats, you're not getting that benefit, right? Fats also help with the skin and with the joints and all kinds of things. So you want to be getting a sufficient amount of fats. Doesn't mean that you have to have 80% of your calories be from fats, right? But you need to understand that that should be the majority, okay? And so, and it's a whole process. You have to understand how much 1 gram of fat is in terms of calories. How many calories is equal to 1 gram of fat versus calories is 1 gram of protein, right? You have to understand that process, and as you do that, then you can grasp the amount of fats that you're actually supposed to have, right? But make sure you're looking at the amount of fats that you're getting. I'm not saying go out there having a bunch of fat bombs, right? But make sure that you're adding a sufficient amount of fats to your meals, whether that be MCT oil, whether it be cooking with oils, butters, whatever, right? We don't need to do low fat this and low fat that. Frankly, low fat usually means more sugar. So you want to make sure that you're getting a sufficient amount of fats in your caloric intake every single day, so that not only do you stay in ketosis, which you'll stay in ketosis anyways if you're eating a lower amount of carbs, but you want to make sure you're getting a sufficient amount of fat so that your body, your hormones are functioning the way they're supposed to, so that you stay in fat burning mode, so that your joints are working the way they're supposed to, so that your body is working the way it's supposed to, and so that you're not hungry, okay? Because that's a big piece of it, all right? So that's tip number 3. Make sure you're getting, a lot of people who are not having results on keto are not getting a sufficient amount of fat, all right? So tip number 4, we talked about fats. Now let's talk about proteins, right? Many times folks are not seeing results on keto because they're not getting a sufficient amount of protein. We're constantly told, if you have too much protein, you're going to go into a thing where your protein's going to turn into glucose and blah, blah. It's so crazy to me how like we hear these new like buzzwords, gluconeogenesis and blah, blah, whatever, right? So we start thinking, oh, that's definitely going to happen to me. And it's like, come on, sis. like there's bodybuilders out here who have like 300 grams of protein every day, you know? They're not going into that. So why would you, by having, 25, 30% of your calories being from protein, or even 20% being from protein, as opposed to 15%, this means let's say I'm having 30% of my calories being from protein. You know how much protein that likely is? I'm just gonna give it a range. It's probably somewhere between like 115 to like 140 grams of protein for the day. That's not a whole ton, not in comparison to what others are having, right? Even in a regular diet, when I say diet, regular American diet, you were likely having more protein than that. So don't get in your head that you're having way too much protein and then you fall way back on your protein, because protein has so many benefits too. Remember, especially if you're exercising, protein is going to help with muscle recovery, right? Protein just helps so much with the body. And here's the other thing, right? You don't want to be in a situation where you're losing weight and you're losing muscle, right? So if your muscles aren't being nourished with enough protein, enough fats, right, then you could start a sufficient amount for your muscles to maintain. So therefore, they start to reduce the amount of muscle mass that you have. That is not a good thing, because guess what muscle does? It burns fat. So therefore, you're losing some of the benefits of your muscles burning that fat. Plus, Keto Mommy Makeover, what I talk about all the time is losing the weight and keeping your curves. So if you lose that muscle mass, that means that those curves that you were getting or had start to go away too. And so that's why you see people who have kind of the sagginess, that saggy look. And I don't just mean skin. I mean that saggy look overall instead of that strong look. It's because they've lost some muscle mass when they were losing the weight, because their muscles weren't getting enough nourishment. And that nourishment comes from fat and it comes from protein. So if you're not getting a sufficient amount of both, then you will lose muscle mass, and that is not a good thing, all right? And so you may still see weight loss, right? So you'll be like, girl, I'm still losing weight. And I'm like, okay, go for it, sis. But here's the thing, right? You'll still be losing weight, but then you'll see that things start to sag and it just does not look like you don't get the look that you want, right? And so to me, when I'm talking results on your health and fitness journey, when I'm talking results on your weight loss journey, I'm talking about also having the look you want, not just those numbers on the scale. Because frankly, I don't want to be 150 pounds if it's 150 pounds of sag, right? If it's 150 pounds of like fat just looking, like if it's a soft 150 pounds, I want to look good. I want to have 150 pounds looking great. I want to have abs. I want to have muscles in my arms. Like, that's what I'm seeing. I mean, maybe that's not you, but I know me. I want things to look good. Like, I'd rather look like Angela Bassett or, Regina King, those amazing arms, right? I want to have the hourglass, like all those things is what I look for, right? And so when I'm thinking about that, you got to have that muscle mass in order to do it. So that's why having a sufficient amount of protein is so important. And that is tip number 4. So tip number 5, it's actually a twofer, right? Because I can't just do, me, I'm always going over on my tips. Anyways, so the 5th mistake that many people make on their keto journey and why they're not seeing results is it's a mix, right? It's a mix of not eating enough and not getting enough exercise, or exercising and not eating enough, right? Because here's the thing. If we are exercising, like going hard, when I'm saying exercising, I'm not just saying walking, which I love, it's a great start, right? But I'm saying if you're lifting, if you're doing some lifting or doing HIIT type workouts, and then you're not getting a sufficient amount of calories to nourish your body, you'll notice that you may hit a plateau. Because again, just like I talked about in step number 4, we have to nourish our muscles. And if we're nourishing our muscles, right, we have to give it a sufficient amount of proteins and fats, a sufficient amount of food, a sufficient amount of calories, right? And so if we aren't giving it that, then we will start to lose muscle mass and therefore reduce the amount of fat burning. And therefore we start to see that stall, right? So a lot of people make this mistake. They're working out, and I have been there, working out 2 hours a day, right? And then eating like 800 calories, right? And then being like, what is happening? I'm seeing like the numbers are going down, but I'm not liking the way this looks, right? Or the numbers stop going down because the body is in like fight or flight mode, right? The body is like, I gotta protect myself and you aren't giving me enough, so I'm holding on to everything I got, you know? And so it can affect the metabolism and all kinds of things. So and the thing is, I'm talking over a long period of time. If you do this for a week, it's not going to, like, your metabolism is not going to be screwed up after 1 week of eating 800 calories and exercising 2 hours a day, right? But if you do it consistently for a month, you know, or months, right, you're going to see that your weight loss stalls drastically. Your progress stalls and things just do not work the way that you wanted it to work. So you've got to be feeding that muscle. That's number 1. But number 2, you've got to be getting the exercise in, because it's the other way too. If you're not exercising and then you're just eating, and you could be eating to plan, you could be eating the perfect keto, right? You will lose weight, don't get me wrong. Like, you'll see results on your journey, but like I always say, you may not see, you will also see the loose skin. You will also see, you know, some of the sag, right? You may not be able to keep your curves if you're not getting that strength training in and the exercise in that you want, right? So that's something that you want to pay attention to. You want to be able to balance the amount of eating you're doing and the amount of exercising you're doing, so that you can see results on your journey and have the body that you want, but also feel the way you want to feel. Because remember, it's not just about being cute, right? We all want to be cute, don't get me wrong. But it's not just about losing the weight. It's about losing it. It's about keeping it off for good. So that happens up here, right? And that's something we work on in my program, is making sure we're changing the mindset and we're repairing that relationship with food. So that's a major part of it, right? And then also it comes down to how you feel. And when I'm saying how you feel, do my knees feel better? Does my back feel better? You know, how are my hormones? Are my hormones more regulated? Like, all those different things play a major part into whether you're truly seeing the results that you want on this journey. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to all those things and that you're getting all those benefits. And that's why those 5 tips are so important, right? Keto treats? No, right? All right. Number 2, make sure you're getting a sufficient amount of water. Number 3, make sure you're getting a sufficient amount of fats. Number 4, a sufficient amount of protein. And number 5, again, that's that twofer, that you are balancing the exercise and the amount of eating that you're doing, so that you're truly seeing results still, right? And if you need help on this journey, don't hesitate to reach out to me, right? If I'm not the coach for you, I have tons and tons of clients and friends that are coaches that I can align you to. But I want to make sure that you're getting results on this journey and that you're getting the help you need. And that comes down to accountability, comes down to motivation, it comes down to support, it comes down to education, right? And it comes down to understanding when things need to change, right? And so I want to make sure that you're getting those results, seeing those results, and having success on your journey. All right, so be sure to follow me on Instagram. Be sure to join my free Facebook group. It's called Keto Mommy Makeover. You'll see the link to both of those in the description of this video. And also follow me on Clubhouse. I do a lot of rooms on Clubhouse talking about a lot of this stuff, right? And if you are a health and fitness professional or a keto coach or wanting to be a keto coach, check out my free masterclass on how to launch your health and wellness business and how to scale it so that you can leave that 9 to 5 and do this thing full time. Follow your passion, all right? I will talk to you soon. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.
Don't forget to subscribe. Be sure to watch my mom's next video.